everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Mehek. I hope you guys are all fine, and like always I also hope that you guys are reading. Back with the book of the week that I finished. It's the Korean Book of Happiness. It's by Barbara Zitwer. That's how it looks. Obviously, like so many people, I am kind of obsessed with everything Korean, like their food, the K-dramas. I listen some of the K-pop music as well. So obviously when I saw the book, I was so excited and I had to read it. And honestly, reading this book was like actually watching a travel documentary where I was kind of visually, in my head, visiting all the places. And honestly now, after finishing the book, I just want to visit all the places that in Korea that the author has mentioned in this book. It's absolutely a joyful and a delightful read. Coming to the plot, it's a non-fiction book. So our author Barbara, actually she's a literary agent. She's from New York, and I think 15-20 years back when she formed a company agency, she was really struggling in looking for writers that she was passionate enough to represent on the global platform. And that's when she met her co-agent who was from Korea. And he kind of exposed her to this world of Korean writers and their amazing writing. And that's when she really got excited and obsessed to represent the Korean writers, globally, and just publish their work in English and, just on a global platform. So obviously after, I think, a year of representing the Korean writers, she decided that it's high time she visits Korea and experiences, what this place has to offer. And this book is actually a result of that. In this book, she is basically sharing the adventures of her visit when she visits Korea, and she kind of tells us, that how Korea is such a fascinating country, which is, forged by three things. It's the courage, joy, and the sense of community. I'll repeat again: courage, joy, and sense of community, which makes Korea really special. I mean, if you read some history of Korea, you realize, they were invaded by Japan and China, and they were kind of, just suppressed between these two nations. But yet how they emerged, and now they're one of the richest country, and they're doing so well, so developed. And, and in spite of that, they are still very deeply rooted in some of the Asian philosophies, one of them being the sense of community, which I think really makes this country so special. Now, in this book, she has shared many, adventures with us. And in between these adventures, she is talking about, the tips and tricks for you to adjust in the culture of Korea if you make a visit there or if you're staying there for a while. She has shared some funny anecdotes, and there are recipes, mouth-watering recipes. I was reading it and I was like, I don't know how to cook. I'm not a great cook, but I was just wondering, damn, if I knew cooking, because these recipes sound so good. And so yeah, there are recipes in the book. There are some top travel tips in this book. I mean, I have literally underlined so many places. Like there's a chapter on shopping, and which has all these places, local places, and some of really nice places that you can go and pick some interesting stuff. And I think that was amazing for the author to do that for us. So yeah, the book is so handy, I feel, if you're making a visit to Korea. Now the book is divided into 10 chapters. They range, different themes. So it's about some of the etiquettes and manners that you should be following when you are in Korea. It's about family, the food, the famous Korean beauty regime, that's also there. There's a chapter on wellness, nature, and shopping, and so on. So while I might not be able to discuss everything in detail, but I really thought that there are a few things that I really wanted to talk about for you to have an idea. So there's this chapter on the etiquettes and the greetings that you're supposed to be observing while you are in Korea. So very interesting incident. The author mentioned that how once she was on a call with publisher, and she's generally a person, I think sort of like me, who does hand gestures. And actually it says that when you are in Korea, if your hands do a lot of talking, it's actually insulting. So you should be avoiding that. So Italians, please take a note. Too many hand gestures can be considered rude in Korea. Another very important lesson in greeting. So in Korea, actually, they address you by their professional titles until unless you have asked them not to. So, in Korea, your surname comes first. In Western, it's your first name and the last name. But in Korea, they address you with your last name first. And they are not very, I would say, keen on physical greeting. So no like kiss on the cheek, etc. Especially if you are meeting a woman, they do not shake hands. So you just nod lightly when you interact with them. And very important lesson in work setting also. So if you're meeting a Korean in a work setting and they give you their card, you take it by two hands and you read it. You glance it for 2-3 seconds and then you keep it away. Otherwise, it is considered very rude. Another thing in Korea which I think is so exciting and makes me want to visit, every day is Christmas in Korea. I love gifting, I love receiving gifts, I love taking gifts, and I love giving gifts. So in Korea, gifting is such a huge part of their culture. So it says that it's a key element of greeting in Korea. If you're going to someone's house, if you're meeting a friend, if you're meeting a colleague, it's very important, or it's considered nice and polite if you carry a gift. And they have also added that the price doesn't matter, it's your intention which is really important. Also, gifting has certain rules. So for example, that it's always a good idea to wrap gifts in royal colors of red and yellow. Blue is for luck, pink and yellow is for happiness. And you never sign a gift card with red ink, a valuable lesson which I came across. Because in Korea, it could mean that you're ending a relationship, so you never sign a greeting card in red ink. And also they say that when you visit Korea, people appreciate if you bring gifts that are local, that have some history or some behind story, and which are really personal. The people in Korea really enjoy that. There's one whole chapter on food. There's so many famous foods, that we read about, that we hear in the Korean dramas. I'm not mentioning that because I'm so sure I'm going to mess up the pronunciation. But, one of their chicken soup recipe here is, I think, looks easy and sounds so interesting. And they say, in Korea, chicken soup is considered as the elixir of life. They drink lots and lots of herbal teas, and they're very adventurous when it comes to trying new foods. We know kimchi is a huge part of their food culture, and it is also one of the reasons of their wellness, because the fermented kimchi has a lot of valuable nutrients for your body. One of the important lessons in food chapter that they also share is that in Korea, people believe in slowing down and really enjoying your meals. If you eat in hurry, you can't really enjoy your food. So you need to take smaller portions and enjoy your food. And they say that it's always nice. So like I mentioned earlier, one of the things very important in Korea is a sense of community. So it's very important that when you constantly engage in a habit of eating with friends, families and colleagues, it's always nice when people come together and eat. They have another chapter which is on home. So in Korea, they believe in minimalism. They do not believe in having lot of furnitures. Like if you visit a traditional Korean household, they do not have a lot of furnitures. They like putting everything in closet. So, the author, she visits one traditional house and she just sees that people put everything in the closet, and when they need a furniture, it's brought out. So their houses are pretty empty because that's how they believe in, less clutter in the life. So this Korean local is like, you shouldn't be getting, furniture. The Korean way is to put everything in closets, and that's why our rooms are so serene and so calm. We don't need clutter in our life. And I think it makes sense that less furniture is definitely one of the ways, that we Indians can inspire from and adapt in our life, because our homes are usually filled with so much of furniture. Another lessons from Korean home that the author has shared, which I think is so valuable. They make a practice to sit on the floor, and it is considered so good for your core and to make you strong. So the author is like, start by sitting down while you're reading or watching a TV. It's really important that we have the habit of sitting down. We need to free our feet, always remove our shoes when we enter home, keeps the bacteria, germs and dirt away. We should try opening the windows all year around, for the fresh air to come in. And if we live in an apartment where we are away from the nature, we should look out ways to bring nature in our house. So have plants around. We can put frames of nature and flowers around us. And like I said, tea is very important. So they have emphasized on how you can enjoy tea by making a little ceremony out of it. Spend time with yourself, brew a nice herbal tea. That really helps. There is a chapter on some of the places that the author visits, and there's one chapter where she talks about the DMZ, which is the Demilitarized Zone, which is your border of North and South Korea. And I think that chapter was so interesting because that is one topic that is always I've always been so curious to know about it, this border between North and South Korea, and just the history behind it. So the author says that when you visit South Korea, you can actually visit the DMZ, and it's actually there it's actually a tourist spot, but there are so once you visit there, you get such strict instructions that you need to follow. So for example, the author has shared that we were given stern lecture and instructions. No cameras whatsoever. No, you cannot do any hand gestures looking at the North Korean soldiers, because they will just shoot you on sight. If they see you clicking pictures, if they see you doing some hand gestures, whatever that could be, they will shoot you on sight. No arguments, no discussions, nothing. They're just crazy that way. So if you do not want yourself to be killed, avoid making hand gestures and using cameras. And there's just so much of history that she's mentioned here, in bits and pieces, and I really enjoyed that, reading that. Another important thing, in Korean culture is, I think in most of the Asia, just like India, the concept of family is very important, like even when they sit on the dining table, it's the elderly, the grandparents that are served first. And marriage as an institution, is given a lot of importance. Just like India, it is believed that it's not the couple that's getting married, it's actually the union of two families. And an interesting insight that the author has shared in this chapter, that you wouldn't find a lot of daycare centers in Korea, because it's just an understanding, just like in India, that the grandparents and the uncles and aunts, the family will look after the babies if the parents are away for work. So I think with regards to family and the culture there, it's pretty much similar to India. And another chapter which is all about the nature is about, they Koreans are out in the nature as much as possible. They spend time with nature. They love hiking. I think she shared a fact that I think 3 people out of 5 will have hiking boots in Korea. So some lessons from the natural world. Get outdoors as much as you can. Soak the sun, soak the nature, make hiking a habit. It really helps. Never try to tame nature, and explore new places outdoors wherever you live. I think being outdoors really helps, which is so important. And in Korean culture, that is a huge deal, spending time with nature. There are also some of, like I said, she has shared some travel tips. So one of the things that people like experiencing when they go to Korea is the Buddhism culture. I practice Buddhism, and so this was very interesting for me. So you have a lot of temples, Buddhist temples in Korea, and I think in 2002 when the World Cup happened they decided, that in order for people to experience the Korean Buddhism and spend a day or two, they came up with this term called as temple stay, where you can actually go and live and spend time in these temples for a one day or for a week. So you can be a part of their meditation, you can enjoy that food, you can sit with monks, so you can experience the entire Korean Buddhism, one-on-one, which I think was so interesting, and I would love to experience that, because the author says it's one of the best ways to experience peace and calm, and just to disconnect for a while. And yes, finally, there is a whole chapter on the Korean beauty and the wellness. So, actually there are two things here. So while there is whole emphasis on how in Korea it's so important to have a beauty care regimen, there's also the sad truth that how plastic surgery, in Korea, all the girls maximum are getting plastic surgery, not just the girls, guys. And it's just so sad that, they have these crazy ideals on how beauty should look like, and which is crazy. But if I have to just quickly take you through the Korean skincare routine, they actually have 10 steps which they do, which takes about half an hour. And by the time a Korean is a teenager, they are pretty much used to doing this 10K beauty regime. So 10-step skincare routine. So it starts with your oil cleanser, they do the gel cleanser, and then there is exfoliator, there's toner, there is essence, there is the serum treatment, sheet mask, eye cream, moisturizer, and finally sunscreen. So this entire step can pretty much take you like half an hour, which is crazy. But in Korea, besides this, elaborate step, they also believe that wellness or beauty is so much about what you eat, what you put inside. So a lot of emphasis on that. They eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and roots, which is a huge part of their food culture. Again, they say skincare should be a part of your daily routine. Tea is medicinal, so tea is everywhere. Just have tea to feel good, to feel joyful, to feel feel beautiful. Just include it in your diet. And a massage or sauna should not be a luxury, but it should be a weekly activity. So in Korea, sauna and things, massage is not looked as luxury or something that you say for special days, but it's a very much part of their daily lives. Last, actually, I would like to share about this, actually second last. So it's something called as Mermaids of Korea. So in Korea, you have this group of female divers who are in the age group of 80 to 89. It's crazy, when I read, I was like, what? And they are living in Jeju Islands, the famous Jeju Islands. And these are the divers, female divers, old female divers, that dive. And actually, there's a word for it. They're called the Haenyeo. I think I'm pronouncing it wrongly, but they are basically divers that, they hold their breath for 2 minutes. They go down and they, fetch things like sea snails and the sea cucumbers and conch and sea urchins to sell at market. In fact, if you look on YouTube, you will find the famous female divers in the Jeju Islands, and they're all old ladies. And this is something, if you visit the Jeju Islands, you can actually experience, because they have these museums on them. There's a show where you can, go and meet these female divers, are rightly called as the mermaids. And finally, there's this chapter on shopping, which I said, which has some really authentic places where you can, go and shop. But I think what is most important, the author says, is that you should be mindful about your shopping. You should pick local as much as you can. So something which is very local to Korea, you should pick that, or wherever you're traveling. So yeah, this was sorry, a little longer book review, but there were so many interesting things that I felt like sharing with you guys. So yeah, I think this book is very beautiful. It kind of fills your soul and senses with the beautiful Korea and the Korean culture and what it has to offer. And I think through all these things that the author shares, one thing that you will realize is very common to them is this, or very important to them, is the sense of community, which I shared with you earlier. So Koreans, they have kind of bounced back, and now they're like, there's this whole Korean wave is because of these things, because they find joy in the simplest of things. They have courage, and there is a sense of community. They like to share, with their community. So yeah, I think that's all on this beautiful book. I think you should definitely get it. Keep it handy if you're planning to go to Korea, just how I am going to do it. And yeah, I'm going to see you guys next week with another title, just in case if you've visited Korea and you have some interesting insights, please do share in the comments. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week with another book title. Till then, take care. Bye bye.